Time for American Family News Update. Happy Monday. It is July 29th. Let's start off with a look at President Biden. He is unveiling a long-awaited proposal for changes at the U.S. Supreme Court, calling on Congress to establish term limits and an ethics code for the court's 9 justices. He's also pressing lawmakers to ratify a constitutional amendment that would limit presidential immunity. The White House on Monday detailed the contours of Biden's court proposal, one that appears to have little chance of being approved by a closely divided Congress, with just 99 days to go before Election Day. Critics say Biden is simply seeking revenge against conservative members of the court for their decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Moving on over to the Middle East. The Middle East braced for a potential flare-up in violence on Sunday after Israeli authorities said a rocket from Lebanon struck a soccer field in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights. It killed 12 children and teenagers in what the military called the deadliest attack on civilians since October 7th. It raised fears of a broader regional war between Israel and Hezbollah, which in a rare move denied that it was responsible. The Israeli military said it struck a number of targets inside Lebanon overnight into Sunday, though their intensity was similar to months of cross-border fighting between Israel and the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. Hezbollah said it also carried out strikes. There were no immediate reports of casualties. The U.S. has concerns over the recent Venezuelan elections. Fox's Alex Hogan has that report.
Chaos over the contested election in Venezuela. Both presidential candidates today announcing a victory of their own. Protests broke out after the country's electoral authority said that President Nicolas Maduro won 51% of the vote and opposition rival Edmundo Gonzalez won 44%. And it was a different story from the opposition's leader who announced that Gonzalez won 70% of the vote. There's also mixed reaction pouring in from world leaders. Argentina's president, who has called Maduro a dictator, said that the country would not recognize another fraud. And speaking in Japan, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said, quote, "We have serious concerns that the result announced does not reflect the will or the votes of the Venezuelan people." In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
McDonald's posted weak sales in the second quarter as increasingly value-conscious consumers in the U.S., China, and more paid fewer visits to restaurants. Sales at locations open at least a year fell 1% worldwide across every company segment in the April to June period. It's the first decline since the final quarter of 2020, when the COVID lockdowns shuttered stores and millions stayed home. The company's net income fell 12% to $2 billion, or $2.80 per share. And that'll do it for this American Family News Update. Thanks for watching. I'm Bronson Woodruff.